Hello, this is Required Fields, and in this video here I'm going to discuss some of the what I feel are amongst the best metal albums of 2016. It was a very good year for metal. Plenty of great albums came out. I don't discuss every metal album that I enjoyed that came out in 2016. I bought plenty of them, but I narrowed it down to the 10 best albums that came out in 2016, and I don't spend a lot of time discussing a lot of them because most of them I've discussed in my acquisitions videos or my what's been spinning videos at some point of the year. So anyways, let's cut to the chase, and here are the 10 best metal albums of 2016. Defeated Sanity. This is Disposal of the Dead and Dharmata. It's a 2 EPs in one. I discussed this album in a new acquisitions video that I had a few months back, and not too long after it got released. It's two EPs combined to make one full-length album. Disposal of the Dead is more straight-up brutal death metal, whereas Dharmata is more or less progressive and technical death metal album. So so it's kind of more like two EPs that were different styles combined to make a full-length album. Anyways, that was definitely one of the I'm not really sure if I have a favorite album, but this is definitely I'd say top 3 material for sure in terms of the best albums of 2016. This video is largely no particular order, but yes, I didn't really see it make too many lists last year, unfortunately. But overall, very underrated album by a very underrated band. Definitely one of the albums that is one of the 10 best albums of 2016, without a doubt. This is Hellstar Vampiro. This is another one of the most underrated bands in metal, I'd say, for sure. One of the most reliable, dependable bands in any form of metal. And it's kind of it's also a shame that I didn't really see this album making too many best lists. I know that Scott Waters of No Life Till Metal had it there, and I think I saw it make 1 or 2 other lists, but when I looked at Metal Board and saw what people listed as the best albums of 2016, hardly anybody seemed to list Vampiro anywhere, which is such a shame because Hellstar deserves so much more recognition in the metal scene, because they're such a great band, and you've been doing making quality metal for over 30 years now, and this is yet another great album from them. This is Metal Church, and this is 11. This album is notable for having the return of Mike Howe, who was the vocalist for them in the late 80s, early 90s. After a very long absence from the music scene, and he still has it. Metal Church put together a great album, and it's an album I discussed about one of my What's Been Spinning videos, and definitely an album worth getting if you like Metal Church. This is Megadeth Dystopia. This was a very nice rebound after Super Collider. I didn't like that album at all by Megadeth. But they rebounded with this album, Dystopia. This was the first album of 2016 that I got. It came out in mid-January, and anyways, that's another one of the best albums of the year. I felt. This is Accuser, The Forlorn Divide. It's quite unfortunate that the only person I can think of who actually listed the album as amongst the best of 2016 when I browsed metal message boards was Scott Waters of No Life Till Metal. I actually bought the album for him earlier as a new release, actually. I ordered it as soon as it came out, and I know he's a huge fan of Accuser, so I bought the album for him, and he hadn't received it yet by the time that he hadn't bought it yet by the time he received it. It's the only album of theirs he didn't have, and he loves the album, and he even has it on vinyl as well as CD. And he was the only other person I can think of that had it on their best of 2016 list. Such an underrated band Accuser is, but anyways, the album actually is perhaps their easiest album to find in North America, because it's one of the only ones, and it's ever been officially released in North America. They signed to Metal Blade Records and had their first officially released in North America album. They're a German band, and most of their albums haven't seen an official US release. But this is the first one to receive one in over 20 years, so hopefully they get their back catalog an official distribution deal in North America. That would be great, because Accuser definitely deserves it. And this album deserves a lot more recognition, I think, when it came to discussing the best metal albums of the year. This is Vector, Terminal Redux. This is their first album. This was their first album in 5 years. And this album made plenty of best metal albums of 2016 lists, and it's easy to see why. This is the third album, and Vector is currently 3 for 3 in making high quality metal albums, and that was another one of the best of 2016. This is Obscura and their album Acroasis. And not unlike Vector, it was 5 years between albums for them, although this is the fourth Obscura full-length album. They had 3 full-length albums and a compilation prior to this. And this is another one of the best albums of 2016. Another very solid technical progressive metal album. And this is a band called Hemotoxin, Biological Enslavement. This is their they have put out an EP and a full-length album before this. I didn't actually get into this band until very late 2016, but after hearing them, I immediately had to get their 2 full-length albums. And recently I ordered their EP that they put out in between their 2 full-length albums, and that should be in the mail soon. But Biological Enslavement was also one of the best albums of 2016, I felt, and they didn't really see it make people's lists of best metal albums of 2016. But anyways, Hemotoxin deserves all the recognition that they can get. Stylistically, I put this album in the vein of progressive death metal, in the vein of bands like mid-period death, pretty much. Definitely an album worth checking out. This is Gruesome, and this is their album Dimensions of Horror. Gruesome is a death metal band that is basically a death worship band. Early era death worship is what they play. It's throwback to the 80s death albums, and even the album's spine and booklets and the CD stamp itself look like metal albums put out back in the 1980s, as opposed to modern albums, modern death metal albums. And this is the second album that they put out. I wonder if they'll actually continue to put out albums that pay tribute to the very early days of death, or if they'll actually go in a more progressive and technical direction, like Death did at the start of the 90s, starting with spiritual healing. We'll have to wait and see if they continue to just play early death worship, 80s era death worship, or if they'll head in the direction Death took in the 90s after that. We'll have to wait and see. But this was another one of the best metal albums of 2016. My favorite track on it was the title and closing track, which also was a track that had a music video made for it. And finally, Artillery, Penalty by Perception. I discussed that one of my What's Been Spinning videos. Perhaps it's their most melodic album. Very good stuff. And anyways, those are the 10 best metal albums of 2016. 2017 is going to shaping out to be a great year as well. We have new albums by Overkill, Immolation, Havoc, and Suffocation coming out this year. Decrepit Birth is working on new material. Hopefully that album will come out in 2017. And Dark Angel is finally working on a new album as well. And anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Those were the 10 best metal albums of 2016 I thought. Hopefully 2017 will be a great year for metal as well. Thank you very much for watching. This is Required Field signing off, and goodbye.